In case you haven't already, don't forget to go on my channel and click that subscribe button and the bell right next to it to never miss a video. If you want to help me out even further, enter the supporter creator code ENERPLAYZ_YT at the bottom right of your Fortnite item shop. Enjoy. So I was just going to go into Arena and make another Arena video, but then I just thought about something that I haven't done in over 2 years. And 2 years ago I had around like 200 subs, so not many people got to see the video. And the video I'm talking about, you guys obviously know from the title, is how I go about making my YouTube videos, and basically a beginner's guide on how to produce good quality videos on YouTube. I think one common misconception about YouTube is that it requires a lot of high quality gear and a lot of money. It really doesn't. Obviously having better gear and better equipment will make things easier, but that doesn't mean it's impossible to make good quality videos without it. So basically this video I'm going to go through every step that I take when I make a video. I've recently just changed some things with my new PC that I've got now. As I said in my last video, I'm able to record everything on one file, because before I'd have to record my keyboard cam on my laptop and then send it over to my computer, which I'd then have to sync up with the gameplay which I'd record on my computer as I'm playing, obviously. Recording everything on one file definitely makes things a lot easier and faster. Now the next step after recording is editing. Now the two most well-known editing softwares out there are probably Sony Vegas and Adobe Premiere Pro. Now I used to use Sony Vegas Pro 13 and I only just stopped using that with my new PC. I now use a free editing software called DaVinci Resolve. It's currently in its version 16 in beta right now. Learning a new editing software definitely will take some time, but once you get used to it, it becomes easy. Especially making YouTube videos. Making simple YouTube videos when you're cutting up some gameplay, that isn't too difficult. Montage editing is a lot different, especially if you're going into detail with loads of different effects. If you want to start going into montage editing, you need to first become comfortable with the software you're using. To do this, use the countless amount of YouTube videos there are, which can help you do whatever you need to do on the software. Once you've covered the basics, you can start delving into some of those more advanced tutorials, which can teach you how to do loads of different things and make some really cool edits. The next stage is making a thumbnail. Now I used to use Photoshop CS6, but I've recently just moved to a free software called GIMP. It does everything that Photoshop can do, and it's free. And the last stage of producing a video is uploading, and the stages you should take on YouTube itself to make your video better quality. Okay, so I used to record on NVIDIA Shadowplay, which was on GeForce Experience, but now I record on Streamlabs OBS because it's a bit more detailed and I have more control over the quality of my recordings. If you have an NVIDIA graphics card, then I would definitely recommend using GeForce Experience as a beginner, as it's a lot more simple. But if you don't have an NVIDIA graphics card, I would immediately start using Streamlabs OBS. One thing I do have to mention is this software has a bigger impact on your system compared to GeForce Experience, so if you have a weaker PC, then go Shadowplay. I couldn't use Streamlabs or the older OBS without making my game lag on my old computer, so keep that in mind. Obviously, if you play on console, it's a lot harder to get your video recorded. I would recommend buying a capture card if you're doing that, something along the lines of an Elgato HD60, but using a capture card will give you more control. Right, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but what I've got here is my recording scene. It's got a bunch of sources on here, so display capture, that's just my whole screen. Fortnite, that will just show my game, so if I was to show that one over display capture, it's got that black bar on it at the minute because it's not full screen, but there's that. So let's go back to display. So webcam overlay, I've got a couple random numbers there because I was testing different sizes. But if I want to just quickly disable these so I can show you each one in order. So 3.1, that one here, that is the whole background bit there. Video capture device, that's obviously my webcam. And then the next one is that bit just there. So I've layered it up so it goes nicely like that. This top overlay, that's for if I want to stream. I can have that up every now and then. But when I record, I don't actually have that up and I just edit it in later. Here I've got my audio mixer, so I've got my desktop audio, my microphone, my Blue Snowball, and this is my webcam microphone, which I don't use because it's really bad quality. So I've got it muted right here. Final thing, I'm just going to quickly go over my settings real quick. So these are my recording settings. I haven't set up streaming settings yet. Here are my recording settings. I've got 2 audio tracks for my game sound and my microphone sound. That's what I've got here. And then that's what I've got on video. So I record at 1080p, 60 FPS. It's all grayed out right now because I'm recording and I can't change any settings when I'm recording. Right, let's get a game to use as an example. Okay, so now we've done the recording stage, it's now time to edit. So this is my editing template for my YouTube videos on DaVinci Resolve 16. As I said earlier on in the video, this is a completely free editing software, so any of you guys can download it right now on your PC. So I'm going to go through what I've got set up on this template and how I go about making a video from this. So here, I'm just going to go layer by layer. So here I've got a text layer. So it's just, these are all video layers, they do the same thing, but I've just labeled them so I know exactly what they're for. So text, the only thing I've got here is this bit at the end here. So thanks for watching, that's what I have here. That's not actually part of this graphic. Here I've got a bit of a blur dissolve effect which goes pretty slowly. just like that, and that's added to my outro graphic right here when I have the clip in that it's fading out from. Now this next layer I've got here is overlays. So on my overlays layer I've got my top overlay right here like that. That's got a blur dissolve effect like this. And then same thing goes to my like overlay, which I've keyframed. The way I get it moving out like this is by using keyframes. So once you've clicked this right here, you are then able to open up the little keyframe tab, and that basically just shows the beginning or end of a transition. So from this point, it's off the screen, and then this point, it's on the screen. So those two keyframes interact, moving that onto the screen, like that. So on this one here, the position is here, X and Y, and this one, it's there. So basically all I've done is added another keyframe to a different position, so it causes the media to move across. Okay, so that's that. That's how I do my like overlay. I've also got another blur dissolve effect. To do the blur dissolve rather than a simple fade out would look like this. You get the top right, drag it out through, and what you'd get is that. But to get a blur dissolve, we need to go to its effects library, blur dissolve, and then you drag it to where you want it, and then you can adjust the size and how fast it will be. So that's a lot quicker than what I have it set to, like that. Okay, so the next layer I've got is the main layer, so that's where the main media goes for the video. Here it says 1v1s because that's the clip name I have, because I didn't actually have the file for my intro, so I had to just take it from another one of my videos. I haven't got any fade-ins here because I'd already set that on Vegas, so it just naturally just fades in. Okay. Very quickly though. I do have a fade out here, but I probably will use the blur dissolve when I get the file in. Yeah, that's a very simple layer. That's just where the normal video goes, the normal media. Back here, it's also got my outro graphic on it. Okay, so here, that's where my game audio goes. So what I do when I record is have two separate audio tracks. I set that up in Streamlabs, so I have a game sound and a mic sound audio track. So this is where the game sound goes, in this audio track there. Mic sound, L music, that's loud music, so that's where my outro music would go, or if I want to have any louder music going on. Background music, B music, that is where I have any background music in the video, so it's a bit quieter. And the way I edit those is over here on the audio mixer. So I can just edit the volume of each of the layers. This slider here, that just controls the volume for the entire project. Voiceover, this is if I want to record a voiceover at the beginning of my videos like I usually do, just saying anything I need to say. Okay, so I'm going to move the outro out of the way so the video doesn't disturb it. And now I'm going to drag in the file that I recorded, just like that. Now what I'd usually do now in a video is start cutting it from beginning to end, so I cut it down to about 13 minutes long. I don't intentionally go for 13 minutes, but that's how long it usually ends up becoming. So the recording is like 19-20 minutes, but yeah, 13 minutes is usually what I end up with. What I'm going to do for the example though is just cut off most of it and just have the last ending fight. Let's go for this long right here. Position lock so this doesn't move to the beginning, just like that. And then I'm going to drag this through here. Now, what I'm going to do here is make this dissolve into the actual video as a nice little transition. So I'm going to unlink these clips by right clicking and unlinking them there. Drag this one along, get rid of this fade, drag in a blur dissolve, and then make that a little bit shorter. Enjoy. So that's what I got there. The audio, just going to fade that a little bit. Obviously there's nothing here, I'm just going to do that there, just because why not. That's what we've got there. So now I can delete these because I'm not actually using these right now. Obviously I could just copy this one through for a longer size video, so that's completely fine to delete these two. And then let's get the outro. So let's drag this along. Okay, no, so that's there now, so let's actually just make this a little bit shorter. Let's put it to around here. Right. Let's connect them here. Get a blur dissolve effect. Just like that. I want to make this, need to actually unlink that. I want to have this the same length as that on the text, so they fade in at the exact same time. Just like that. So that looks like this. I think I might make that a little bit shorter. That'll do. There we go. That looks nice. Now here obviously is the outro music I've got. Just faded that out towards the end a little bit before. And that fades out just like that. That's separate fade out though, I don't really want that. So let's just make it the same length, so then it'll go like this. There we go. Okay, so that's basically the process I take when I'm making a video. This will obviously be a lot longer and a lot different because it will be 30 minutes long with a lot of cuts and trims. This is just a shortened, uncut version of what it would be. So then, to render, I go over to deliver. Right, so let me show you guys the settings I'd use to render. Let's just name this one video. That's going to YouTube renders on my C drive. Renders it as a single clip. Right, so video, export, yes. Format, MP4. Codec stays the same. Don't tick this. Resolution 1080p, frame rate 60 frames a second. This is the only option here because the file is 60 FPS exactly, and so is the project. So that's the only one that shows. 1080p. Okay, so the bitrate I've restricted to 37,500 kilobits a second. Now I'd recommend a little bit lower if you don't really worry about that good quality. This is just perfect 1080p, 60 FPS. If you go any lower, it should still be fine, but I wouldn't go under anything like 20k if you want to be making good quality videos on YouTube. Everything else you can just leave as it is. Don't even bother about going into all of this. That should be set fine. Okay, so after video, you want to go to audio. Codec you should have as AAC, and all of this you should really keep the same. Except for this one, output track, I had to change that. Main one stereo, it did have a couple other ones, and it was splitting up the audio tracks in the final file, which you don't want. So you want to have that as one audio track in the final file. Data rate is this, bit depth is that, that's completely fine. You don't need to worry about this, as long as you've just named the file name up here, and you've selected the location, it'll be fine. Okay, so I'm going to add that to the render queue. I've got it set to render the entire timeline. You can have it to render certain parts of it, but I'm just going to go entire timeline. Add that to the render queue, and then you can start the render. So that's basically just going to create a file from all of this. And finished. Alright, so let's have a look at the file.
In case you haven't already,
got the intro.
And the button.
It's all good.
Even for creator code underscore or white at the bottom right of your Fortnite.
Fade works nicely. And the video is full 1080p 60 FPS. Perfect. Yep. Everything's good. So that's a minute long and that rendered in 46 seconds. Now that won't be that quick for you. It's just my PC is very, very powerful, so it's able to render things very, very quickly. Okay, so that's the editing stage. Let's go make a thumbnail. Okay, so this is my photo editing software, GIMP, and as I said earlier on in the video, it is completely free to download. So any of you guys can download it right now and start making thumbnails. Alright, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but this is the thumbnail that I did for my last video. Okay, so I'm going to first show you what each of these layers are. So I'm going to make them all invisible. So this first one right here, that's the background, and I've blurred that by going into filters, blur, Gaussian blur, and I've changed the size of the blur. So let's go into that now actually. And I can adjust how big the blur is here. That's the blur I've gotten there. Before I blurred it though, I cut out my player here using the scissor selection tool, which goes like this, so you can kind of cut around things, and it magnetizes to where the colors are different, so it makes it easier to cut things out. Okay, so after I cut that out, I then copied and pasted it on top like that, and that's when I blurred the background. Then I got the Victory Royale sign, moved it around until I thought it looked nice. Now I don't like the drop shadow that's on here, but that's just how it is on the Victory Royale sign, so I've kept it just like that. The next layer I have is my keyboard cam. I used the same exact tool that I used for this one to cut this one out here. I also added a drop shadow, but it's a bit blocky. As you guys can see right there, it blocks it off like that. That's just because of the size of that layer. So that's the yellow line here, the yellow and black dotted line, shows the barrier, the edge of the layer. So it kind of blocked off the drop shadow, but you don't see that in a thumbnail, so it's fine. To get a drop shadow, it's just filters, light and shadow, drop shadow, and then you can adjust it from there. This bit right here, that's the text. Typed it up and added the drop shadow to it, moved it in place, and then that's the thumbnail. Now the way I get this picture is actually really simple. I go into creative on Fortnite and I do an emote or hold a gun out or do something like that. Then I go into replay, go to drone free mode rather than gameplay, move the camera around to where I want it facing, and then I take a screenshot. And that's how I get this picture. It is zoomed in a bit here as well. As you guys can see, that's the actual full border of it there. If you want to do that, then I'm pretty sure you have to go into the Fortnite settings and change save creative replays on, because I'm pretty sure it's off by default. Okay, so that's how I make my thumbnails. Let's now go onto YouTube and upload the video, and I'll show you guys some more stuff that you can do on YouTube to make your video better quality. Alright, let's start the upload by dragging the file in. Just going to set it to private because I obviously don't want this to be public. First thing you should be looking at is your title. Having a good and clickable title is one of the most important things you can do on YouTube, as it's the first thing along with the thumbnail that people see about your video, and having a good one will make people want to click on it. People really misuse the word clickbait. Most people think clickbait is lying to people trying to get them to click on your video. But actually it's anything that makes people want to click on it at all. Something like an attractive thumbnail and a good quality title is a form of clickbait. And when I say good quality, I don't mean lying. You can just be telling the truth and make it a clickable title. Okay, let's go with something like this. Season X example win plus keyboard cam, and then I'll go Fortnite Battle Royale. In most of my videos I put the game title in the thumbnail, but this part is what you want to be thinking about. Having things that are currently relevant on YouTube and to the topic of your video will make people click on your video more often. So just talking about Season X in the title or Season 10, as that is currently new, it's going to be what people are looking for. Okay, now my description is huge and I get this from a notepad file which I have saved on my hard drive, so I literally just copy and paste it in. So that's what I got for my description. I have loads of different things in here talking about my sport creator affiliate links, just saying thank you for watching, my social media, and I've got all my peripherals and software down here. So I see loads of comments asking about what stuff I use. It's all down in the description, everything. One thing I'm going to add to this video's description and all my videos descriptions to come is my PC specs, so you guys can know the details of my new PC. These here are like a new way of tagging your video on YouTube. I actually don't know if it's that new. It's actually quite old now, I'm pretty sure, but if you put a maximum of 3 hashtags at the bottom of your description, they'll appear above your title on your video, which people can use to find your video easily. Or if you want to show some more information, you can put it there. Tags are incredibly important. They basically make it easier for people to find your video based on what they search up. I always try to use as many tags as I can, making things as relevant to the video as I can do. So these are the tags I used on my last video. Just anything relating to the video that will make it more likely to come up when people search these things. So I'm just going to do a few tags here. Right, so those are a few tags. Add to playlist. My Fortnite playlist right there, or you can create a new one. Advanced settings, I always type in this. I'm pretty sure it does it automatically anyway, but I always do that. And when it comes to monetization, when you get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, you can apply for this, so then you can start making money on YouTube. So I'm not going to focus too much on that now, just going to move on. So it's on private. Let's finish. So let's go on here. I'm not going to play the audio, but as you guys can see, it's posted to full quality here, just as it should do. Okay, so click on edit video, and then you'll be taken to this screen right here. So the next thing I do is go and put my thumbnail on. So you want to click custom thumbnail, search it up in the folder that brings up, and then there you go, that's the thumbnail. Just save your changes and then go on to end screens. End screens and cards are two very important parts of YouTube videos, which I use in every single one of mine. So these spaces in the outro graphic are for the end screen. So the subscribe one doesn't perfectly fit, but it goes into there. Then I go best for viewer on the left side, and then I get my Fortnite playlist usually and put it on the right side, just like that. I usually bring it back a little bit so they finish just before it fades out, and I save. Now end screens can be used 20 seconds before the video ends, so that's why when I edit I make the outro graphic last 20 seconds. So let's go on to cards. Cards are those pop-ups in the top right that you see on YouTube videos. So if I go and make one for my playlist, 5 seconds into the video and it'll pop up with my playlist over there. I usually add 3 cards per video, so then I click on my most recent video and then the next one after that, a bit further in. And there we go. I don't touch anything else, that's all I need to do. Minus the monetization, which I'm not going to cover. And then you want to obviously make it public and then publish. And that's it. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really hope you all learned something and took something from it. Maybe you want to start getting into YouTube and start making some videos, or you're just curious about how I make mine. I really hope this video did something for you. Alright, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe and notifs to never miss a video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.